રાષ્ટ્રપતિ ડોનાલ્ડ ટ્રમ્પ તેલ ભંડારો પર નજર અને નાટોને ગણાવ્યું કાગળનો વાઘ. અમેરિકી રાષ્ટ્રપતિ ડોનાલ્ડ ટ્રમ્પે ઈરાન સાથેના વધતા તણાવ વચ્ચે ફરી એકવાર આક્રમક વલણ અપનાવતા વિજેતાને જ લૂંટનો અધિકાર હોવાનું જણાવી ઈરાનના તેલ ભંડાર પર કબજો કરવાની ઈચ્છા વ્યક્ત કરી છે. વ્હાઇટ હાઉસ ખાતે પત્રકારો સાથેની વાતચીતમાં ટ્રમ્પે જણાવ્યું હતું કે તેઓ સૌપ્રથમ એક વ્યાપારી છે અને જો તેમની પાસે વિકલ્પ હોય તો તેઓ ઈરાનનું તેલ કબજે કરવાનું પસંદ કરશે. આ ઉપરાંત તેણે ઈરાનને કડક અલ્ટિમેટમ આપતા ચેતવણી આપી છે કે જો હોર્મુઝની સામુદ્રી ધોની તાત્કાલિક ખુલ્લી કરવામાં નહીં આવે તો અમેરિકી સૈન્ય માત્ર ગણતરીના કલાકોમાં જ ઈરાનના તમામ મહત્વના પુલો અને વીજ મથકોને નેસ્તનાબૂદ કરી દેશે. આ તણાવપૂર્ણ સ્થિતિ વચ્ચે રાષ્ટ્રપતિએ ઈરાનમાં તોડી પાડેલા F-15 યુદ્ધ વિમાનના એક અધિકારીના ચમત્કારિક બચાવની વિગતો પણ જાહેર કરી હતી. આ બહાદુર અધિકારીએ ગંભીર રીતે ઘાયલ હોવા છતાં અત્યંત દુર્ગમ પહાડો અને ખાઈઓ ચડીને સુરક્ષિત સ્થળે પહોંચી પોતાના લોકેશનની જાણકારી અમેરિકી દળોને આપી હતી. નાસા અને અમેરિકી વિશેષ દળોએ 150થી વધુ વિમાનોના કાફલા સાથે ઐતિહાસિક બચાવ અભિયાન પાર પાડીને અધિકારીને હેમખેમ છોડાવ્યા હતા. ટ્રમ્પે આ મિશનને અમેરિકી સૈન્યની ક્ષમતાનું શ્રેષ્ઠ ઉદાહરણ ગણાવ્યું હતું. બીજી તરફ ટ્રમ્પે નાટો સંગઠન પર આકરા પ્રહાર કરતા તેને કાગળનો વાઘ ગણાવ્યો છે. તેમણે આક્ષેપ કર્યો હતો કે ઈરાન સાથેના સંઘર્ષમાં નાટોએ કોઈ સક્રિય ભૂમિકા ભજવી નથી. ટ્રમ્પે વધુમાં ખુલાસો કર્યો હતો કે અમેરિકા અને નાટો વચ્ચેના સંબંધમાં તિરાડ ગ્રીનલેન્ડના મુદ્દે શરૂ થઈ હતી જ્યારે સાથી દેશોએ અમેરિકાના પ્રસ્તાવનો વિરોધ કર્યો હતો. ટ્રમ્પે સ્પષ્ટ સંકેત આપ્યો છે કે જો જરૂર પડશે તો અમેરિકા એકલા હાથે પણ ઈરાન વિરુદ્ધ કડક લશ્કરી કાર્યવાહી કરવા સજ્જ છે જેનાથી વૈશ્વિક સ્તરે યુદ્ધના વાદળો વધુ ઘેરાયા છે.
We have a plan because of the power of our military where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. I mean, complete demolition by 12 o'clock. And it'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we wanted to. We don't want that to happen. We may even get involved with helping them rebuild their nation. And you know what? If that's the case, the last thing we want to do is start with power plants, which are among the most expensive things, and bridges. You saw the bridge. The bridge went. We were very close to a deal. And then I got a call from Mr. Witkoff, Mr. Kushner, and JD saying, I think they're breaking the deal. I said, tell them that's okay. Don't worry about it. But tell them to look out their window and watch. And within 45 minutes, I gave the order to knock out the biggest bridge. I gave the order to knock out the biggest bridge in, I believe, the Middle East, but the biggest bridge in Iran. And within 10 minutes after I gave that order, that bridge was over. So do I want to do that? No. Do I want to destroy their infrastructure? No. It will take them 100 years to rebuild. Right now, if we left today, it would take them 20 years to rebuild their country, and it would never be as good as it was. And the only way they're going to be able to rebuild their country is to utilize the genius of the United States of America.
You said earlier today during the egg roll that you would like to take Iran's oil, but Americans want U.S. forces home.
Correct.
What's that trade-off?
If I had my choice,
Does it take too
if I had my
much
choice, yeah, because I'm a businessman first. With Venezuela, as you know, the war was over in about 45 minutes. And we have great people running Venezuela, very good people. I mean, the relationship is good. And we are a partner with Venezuela. And we've taken hundreds of millions of barrels, hundreds of millions. Over 100 million barrels already is in Houston, refined and out. And paid for that war many, many times over. Many times. You know, the old days, to the victim. Okay? You know that. To the winner belong the spoils. Go the spoils. And I've said, why don't we use it? To the victor go the spoils. And we don't have that. We haven't had that in this country probably in 100 years, because even the Second World War, you look at the Second World War, we didn't have it with the Second World. We helped rebuild all those countries. We rebuilt Germany. How about Germany telling us that, well, it's not their war. We had nothing to do with it. They wanted me to go and tell them everything I was doing. We didn't know anything about it. Well, if I would have told them, they would have leaked it, and we wouldn't have been nearly as successful, possibly, right? but to the victor belong the spoils. So we haven't heard that in, I think, maybe hundreds of years. Now with Venezuela, and we, just so you understand, the people of Venezuela, they say if I ran for president of Venezuela, I'm polling higher than anybody has ever polled in Venezuela. So after I'm finished with this, I can go to Venezuela. I will quickly learn Spanish. It won't take too long. I'm good at language. And I will go to Venezuela. I'm going to run for president. But we're very happy with the president-elect that we have right now. The people that are running it, despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as far away because they all head right to that site. You want to be as far away as you can. And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper-type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout, and he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher and really very, very hard to find. The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's an amazing thing. I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing. But I listened to the whole thing. It was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force, America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind. The heroic F-15 weapon system officer had evaded capture on the ground in Iran for almost 48 hours. That's a long time when you're in tough shape and when you're bleeding. It's a long time. When we left, as you probably know, we had 2 large planes, pretty old planes that carried a lot. We needed a lot more equipment going in than coming out, obviously, because going in, we needed to be able to scale mountains, and we had a lot of equipment. But the sand was sandy, wet sand, so we thought there may be a problem taking off because of the weight of the plane, and then we also had all the men jumping back onto the planes, and they got pretty well bogged down, and we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in, and they took them out. We blew up the old planes. We blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that, frankly, we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So we didn't want anybody to have. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. We didn't want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment. So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up, and we had faster, lighter planes come in, and they were able to land on the sand. We needed the bigger planes because we had so much equipment that we needed. We took 3 helicopters over there, which were very strongly used and couldn't have lived without them. They did, and they performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it. They came off the plane, and these guys had them. The rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. It's not a danger. NATO's, look, we went to NATO. I didn't ask very strongly. I just said, hey, if you want to help, great. No, we will not help. I said, that's all right. You don't want to help? Because I've always said NATO's a paper tiger. See, NATO is a paper tiger. Putin's not afraid of NATO. Putin's afraid of us, very afraid of us. And he's explained it to me a lot of times. I got to know him very well. I know him very well. NATO's a paper tiger. NATO is us. And when we needed them, but we didn't need them, by the way. We didn't need them, obviously, because they haven't helped at all. Just the opposite. They've actually gone out of their way not to help. They didn't even want to give us landing strips. Think of it. And it's not just NATO. You know who else didn't help us? South Korea didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Australia didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Japan. We've got 50,000 soldiers in Japan to protect them from North Korea. We have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea to protect us from Kim Jong-un, who I get along with very well, as you know. Do you notice he said very nice things about me? He used to call Joe Biden a mentally retarded person, okay? So don't tell me about your stuff. Joe Biden, he said he's a mentally retarded person. He was so nasty to Joe Biden. It was terrible. But to me, he likes Trump. And do you notice how nice things are with North Korea? It's very nice. But we have 45,000 people, soldiers, in harm's way, right next to Kim Jong-un with a lot of nuclear weapons. 45, which should have never happened if a certain president, I'm not going to mention this president because I happen to like him, believe it or not, but if a certain president did his job, Kim Jong-un would not have nuclear weapons right now. But they were all afraid to do their job properly. But just to conclude and just to finish, Japan didn't help us, Australia didn't help us, South Korea didn't help us, and then you get to NATO, NATO didn't help us. There were some countries that did. Now, countries that have been good, now you could also say they're got to be a little bit more involved because they're in the territory, but Saudi Arabia has been excellent, Qatar has been excellent, UAE has been excellent, Bahrain, Kuwait. I mean, Kuwait did shoot down 3 of our planes. The only planes, really, that we lost with friendly fire, they call it. I call it unfriendly fire. They unfortunately didn't know how to use our great Patriots. The pilot said, what kind of a missile's coming at us? Patriot. Boom, they got out. Because they know a Patriot never misses. So they had beautiful Patriots. There were planes heading in their direction. Unfortunately, they decided to shoot those planes. They were our planes. So, NATO is a paper tiger. Now, he's coming to see me on Wednesday, as you know. He's a wonderful guy. Secretary General is great. And Mark Rutte, he's a great person, but he's got... And it all began with, if you want to know the truth, Greenland. We want Greenland. They don't want to give it to us, and I said, bye-bye.